welcome to my safe haven. So I purposely waited to do this because a lot of people were releasing theirs at the same time, and so I wanted to hold off a little bit. And also with regards to movies, there are still movies that I haven't seen yet. Like I still want to see The Color Purple, and I know that's going to make my list, so I'm going to hold off on movies. But these are my favorite TV shows that have come out of 2023. And honestly, these aren't going to be in any particular order, but they're just the ones that I love this year. Also, keep in mind, this isn't a comprehensive list because there are a lot of shows that I haven't seen that came out in 2023, but I think I've seen enough to make a decent list. Happy New Year, by the way. Let's start with this one. I thought this season of Castlevania was great. I thought the animation was incredible. The lore, the characters that they introduced, especially Annette, Aurochs, and Dralta. Give me a whole show with these two. And I think they did a really good job of interweaving like Haitian lore, native lore, and all of that in this world. And I love that. They also followed my motto, make it blacker, make it gayer. And I'm always here for that. Speaking of make it gayer, and blacker to a certain extent, Fellow Travelers, that was on Paramount Plus and Showtime. This show was definitely a surprise and something that wasn't on my radar, but then when I watched it, I was hooked. This show is sexy, it's intriguing, the acting is great. You're also learning things about American queer history through a fictional lens, and every episode of this show slaps. Is that what the kids say? I'm disappointed it was just one season. It was one and done, but they did an incredible job. After watching this show, I'm like, all shows and movies need to step up their sex scenes because this is the blueprint. After this show, I am now a fan of Jonathan Bailey. I've never seen him before prior to this. Next is Gen V. If you would have told me that Gen V was season 4 of The Boys and not an actual spinoff, I would totally believe you because the way they interwove these characters and this part of the mythology into the world and the lore and everything like that, like it was incredible. And honestly, this is one of those moments where a spinoff, you love it just as much, if not more, than the original. And I can't wait to see these characters again. And they had all the things that I say I love in my fantasy: blood, sex, gore, and magic. Next is Blue-Eyed Samurai. Like, this show was a welcome surprise for me. Like, this wasn't something that was on my radar. I had no idea about it. I didn't see any advertisements. A friend of mine just said, hey, check this out. I watched it and I loved it. I pretty much binged it all in one sitting. First of all, the animation was dope, and I love the fact that they focused a lot on the women characters and giving them agency during a time period where women didn't have rights and agency. It's just another example to go to show, like, despite not officially having power, like Beyonce says, girls run the world. Next is The Last of Us, and I'm a gamer, and so even though I played both games multiple times and the show is literally a beat-for-beat recreation of the video games, it's still incredible. I still love it. Zadie Pascal as Joel, Bella Ramsey as Ellie, seeing the clickers actualized in real life and the makeup design, like, all of it is great. Also, the things that they added that weren't part of the games, not granted, not all of it landed, but most of it did, and I can't wait to see season 2. Speaking of things landing, everything landed about this show right here. Beef, like, this show was incredible. I've never really heard of Ali Wong before this, but this show made me more of a fan of Stephen Young. And this is the very definition, this show right here is the very definition of hurt people, hurt people. Now, sometimes you just fall into a descent of rage and madness and villainy without realizing how far down the rabbit hole you dropped, and you need therapy. Next show, and you're not surprised because they always cook with their animated properties, and I'm wearing the shirt right now, but My Adventures with Superman. That show, and they did a good job of interweaving like anime aspects in the show, but it is quintessential Superman lore and mythology and just character development. And I wish the season was a little bit longer. It's only 8 episodes. And the creators of this show know Superman's psychology. They know what makes him tick. They know what motivates him. And this show is a perfect example of why Superman is not a boring character. And I really like Jack Quaid as the voice of Clark Kent Superman. I mean, come on. They know what they were doing with this moment. Speaking of DC, Harley Quinn season 4, every season of this show just elevates the last season, and I love these characters. I love Kaylee Cuoco as Harley Quinn, Lake Bell as Poison Ivy, and then that scene with Nightwing, like this scene right here with Nightwing, like this scene alone made it my favorite season. I'm putting my body in a certain way to cover it up, but like if y'all seen season 4, you know. Those are basically the ones I just wanted to point out. I could go on, but this video's already gotten long enough. Like, I could talk about Heartstopper Season 2, even though I wasn't a big fan of Season 2 as much as I was Season 1. I thought Season 2 was just okay, but I still enjoyed it. Yeah, but with that said, what are some of your favorite shows to come out of 2023? Leave a comment below and watch, like, share, comment, interact for the all gay